Welcome, everybody. This is Hey Miss Parker, and I want to invite you to come on in. And I'm telling you off the back that I am doing Facebook Live here, and I'm recording off of my laptop so I can upload it to my YouTube channel. But today, I want to talk about our children and separation anxiety, and another one that's called separation anxiety disorder. So today, our country is pushed to examine and look at our mental health systems or institutions with the passing of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain. Besides them, we deal with our servicemen. Hi, Erin. With post-traumatic stress disorder. We have students in elementary schools committing suicide. So we have to examine our healthcare system when it pertains to mental health. And I want to read what I wrote down. It is with a broken heart that I have to announce to my fellow viewers that children are being separated from their parents at the U.S. Customs Border Protection Facility. This broadcast, I'm telling you, thank you, Aaron. This broadcast is not political, but today I want to address the psychological effects of separating children from their mothers. There is an 8-minute tape or clip of children crying and a U.S. patrol agent making a joke saying that there's an orchestra of wailing children. The only thing that's missing is the conductor. Today, I would like to talk about separation anxiety and separation anxiety disorder. It is natural for a child to feel anxious when you say goodbye. Although it can be difficult, separation anxiety is a normal stage of development. An easy way for me to describe development or childhood development is I like the acronyms because it's my name. D is for discovery, A is for adventurous, N is for the narcissistic stage, the I, me stage, and then A is the actualization. But today I want to focus on that discovery stage. The discovery stage occurs between birth and maybe 5 years old, and that period of time in childhood development, our children, they learn to hold the bottle, they learn to crawl, to roll over, to walk, and it's that time that they discover that they aren't attached to your hip. So just before they move on to the adventurous stage, that discovery stage allows them to see and discover the onset of their independence. Okay. Although it can be difficult, the separation of anxiety, it is a normal stage. At the start, our babies understand who their primary caretakers are. Whoever the primary taker, whether it's mommy, daddy, they get so used to you because you're the one that's feeding them, you're comforting them, you're caring for them, you're making them laugh, you're making them feel safe. So when we pass our babies off to, I don't know, a stranger or another family member who they're less familiar with, you'll see that anxiety, no, you see them pull away until they check out. They check your face out. They might say, oh, well, they're familiar with this person. But if it's a total stranger, they are crying, they're throwing tantrums, and it's not an easy transition. So in early childhood, crying and tantrum and clinginess are healthy reactions to separations. This coming year would be my 3rd year of working in kindergarten. And one thing that I found out about our kindergartners, some of them, it's an easier transition for those who went to nursery school or to a pre-K program. But a lot of times we have students who their first 5 years of life, it was solely at home with their family. So they're only familiar with their family. So we have a hard time with that transition. We know the first 6 weeks, the first 2 months, we have to pretty much train your child and have them to become used to us. So these are ways, we have parents that have ways that they could learn how to separate from their kids and to do it with ease. And some of the ways to do it with ease is practicing a separation. Okay, you could start by dropping your child off to a friend's house for a moment and tell them, okay, I'm going to the grocery store to get some milk. I'll be right back. And when I come back, I'll pick you up and I'll take you home. So leaving the child in the care of another person is the start of breaking that separation anxiety. Also, developing a goodbye ritual. Like, oh, okay, all right, you pull up to the school and all right, you give me a hug, give me a kiss, a wave goodbye. Things that they start to see that becomes a ritual will start breaking that separation anxiety. Or leave without fanfare. Sometimes you just have to say, look, mommy got to go to work. When I come back from work, I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go pick up daddy from the train station, and then we're going to go home. Goodbye. But when you stand there and I don't want to leave, then you're only heightening the situation. You're only making the situation worse. Goodbye. I'll see you later. I'll be back. Have a good day. But, okay, so now let's talk about separation anxiety disorder. Now, there's the symptoms between separation anxiety and separation anxiety disorder is two different things. Okay, some of the symptoms are the same, but when we look at separation anxiety disorder, it is a serious emotional problem characterized by extreme distress when a child is away from the primary caregiver, and the intensity of your child's fear, whether these are fears of you not coming back or it's fears that start to interfere with their normal activities. Okay, in a few weeks, believe it or not, it's back to school because we're almost a month out of school already. So it's the end of July to the beginning of August. Us who's here in the South is going back to school. So back to my new set of kindergartner students. So what one of the things that I always say to the parents is when they're being introduced to kindergarten and they're leaving them, we need some extra clothes. We need change of clothes because they're not familiar with us. Because this year I'm looking forward to not only having my African American students, but I'm going to have my Hispanic students. There's in our school, in our particular school, there's an influx of Indian students from Northern Africa, and students that come from countries where their parents speak Arabic. So we have a diversity of students that's coming. So they're not going to come up to me and say, hey, Miss Parker, I have to go to the bathroom. So we have to imagine the kids who's at the U.S. Customs border facility, they're not familiar with the people already. So no, they're not going to be raising their hands, and they're not going to say, I have to use the restroom. So you can only imagine what our children, because no matter what, whether it's another race, whatever, it's all our children. As mothers, to see that we have children that separated from their parents, children who they're not going to say, I have to use the restroom, I have to go to the bathroom, baño, whatever it is, they're not going to do it. So imagine children that's locked up. Look at that picture that I put on my post. That was a picture that came from like CNN. That's what we're dealing with. So I want for us, when I say us, I want for our country to take under consideration the things that children as parents, do we want to see our kids, ripped from us? I don't want to make this political, but I want to look at the psychological effects that our children may be encountering. Okay, so I want to go over some of the things. Some of the things that our kids encounter already. Because remember, the kids, we don't know who has just regular, normal separation anxiety, and we don't know who has separation anxiety disorder. But those who are in there who might have the disorder, these are some of the things that they're feeling. fear that something terrible would happen to their loved one, worry that an unpredictable event would lead to permanent separation, and they have nightmares about separation. We know anything that goes on mentally with us, our body also reacts to it. So physically, what happens to them, they become reluctant to go to sleep. They become physically sick with a stomach ache or a headache. So I just want for us as Americans to just consider and think about the consequences of pulling away our children from their families. Anxiety and anxiety, separation anxiety disorder. So it's just a short post, but these are the things that's on my mind as a parent, as a grandmother, to please consider. Because those of you who are in the field of counseling or in the medical field, you know that anxiety in a child, and especially if it's severe as separation anxiety disorder, what do you think it's going to go away? Is it going to disappear? Are they not going to take it into their teenage years and into adulthood? So you're telling me we have a 5-year-old in the next 20 years. That 25-year-old boy or girl is not going to have an anxiety disorder? Look what we're dealing with. So let's just be mindful as intelligent human beings what we're dealing with. Let's foresee the future. If we separate these children from their parents, have them in a country where no one pretty much understands them or will care for them, or you're pulling the family away. Let's not even talk about the psychological effects of you separating them and probably putting them in the foster care system. That's a horse of a different color. So, but let's just be intelligent, mindful people, God-fearing people. That's what we are. We're in America, we're God-fearing people. That what we're dealing with and how we handle people and the effects of what we do to people now, how it would affect them in their adult years. An example I'm just going to throw in real quick. I'm living in the South for 10 years now, and when I went back to New York, when I went to the grocery store, they said, "Do you want this in the bag?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they charged me a few cents for putting it in a bag. And what I realized, what my sister told me, is now because of all the landfills and all the bottles of water, that they have now that is not dissolving or whatever it is, because of that, now they prefer to charge you because they don't know what to do with the plastic that from 20 years ago that we've been buying plastic water bottles now. So what does that have to do with the kids that's locked up, basically? Think ahead of what's going on. If we had thought about you selling these water bottles 20 years down the line, what is our landfills going to look like? So the same thing I want you to think with these children. What are the effects of you separating these kids? What are the effects of the emotional, the physical trauma that these kids are going through now at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, under the age of 18, is going to take on in their adulthood. That's it. I'm done. I'm not going past what information I have, but I thank you. Thank you, Mary Ann Casson. You know I love you. Thank you for watching. Share this because it needs to get out. As mothers, it needs to get out. We need to get this out, this information out. We need to get out. What are we going to do? We can't allow kids just sitting there like they're in prison, locked up, set apart, separated from their parents, and think that they're going to grow up to be healthy adults. Hey, Vanessa. Hey, daughter. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed remaining of your day. Remember to share this video. Get the word out. It's our responsibility as parents. It's our responsibility as Christians to do something. Take care. Bye-bye.